How about that cigar?
How about that cigar?
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 134 of How About That Cigar Live. Thank you so much for joining us live on Facebook, live on YouTube, and for those of you listening after the fact on the audio podcast, thanks so much for listening while you drive down the road or work out, whatever it is you do when you listen to your favorite audio podcast. Thank you so much for listening. The Drew Estate Cigar Studio is on the road today at Hemingway Social Club in Minneapolis, Minnesota. Beautiful club. So if you guys are in the area, make sure to check it out. And let's remind you again about the beautiful new size of the Drew Estate Deadwood Leather Rose. The boldest of the four bewitching Deadwood sisters is showing off a new side of her sultry personality with Drew Estate's launch of the Deadwood Leather Rose Petite Corona. The spiciest of the Deadwood ladies, Leather Rose features a rich Maduro wrapper around an aromatic and exotic blend of aged, dark, air-cured tobaccos that offers an enchanting and bold, sweet profile with notes of cedar, oak, white pepper, and earth that will leave you longing for more. The 4x43 Deadwood Leather Rose Petite Corona will be presented in 24-count boxes with an MSRP of $6.95 per cigar. For more info, please visit drewestate.com. So, Garrett, episode 134.
134.
We are on the road again. And so there was a little bit of, there was a little bit of, there was a little bit of football yesterday. And both our teams.
I'm more disappointed in your team than I am my team.
Well,
I'll be honest.
I'm wondering why that is, though, because my team was, for those of you guys who don't know, I am a Green Bay Packers fan, and Garrett is a Minnesota Vikings fan. And so my team was playing with a backup quarterback and still managed to at least sort of make a game out of it. If it wasn't for our defense, then we would have lost by 40 points.
100%.
Our defense played a great game, but the offense just could not put it together. I do not think I'll say this. I know it's only one game, but love is not the answer. Love is, Jordan Love is not the answer for the future of the franchise. Your team, the Vikings, just couldn't seem to put it together.
Game planning. Game planning was atrocious.
Do you think your coach is on the
absolutely? He's on the hottest of hot seats.
Yeah,
and not only the head coach, but also, and I'll give, Kubiak Jr., it's his first, it's his rookie year as an offensive coordinator. I'm sure he's got good stuff, but the way that the offense was running, I don't think he has the chops right now. So that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. But our Wild.
Yes, that is a huge bright spot. Oh,
hello.
Oh, goodness.
And look at that cello.
Yeah. So I got to thank our friend
Did
Red.
That in caramel?
I don't know, but our friend Red, who also has a private cigar club here in the Minneapolis area, gifted me the cigar last Sunday. And it's one of the Padron 90th in the tube, the natural. And this cellophane is like brown. It's not even yellow. It's brown. So thank you, Red, for this cigar. Going to fire it up right now. The Minnesota Wild they're 8-3. They're playing really well. But again, I hope it translates into the rest of the season, because the Wild tend to start out hot and then just kind of fall apart. Yep. So, we'll see how it goes.
It hasn't been this hot. This is pretty good.
This is pretty great. Congrats to the Atlanta Braves for winning the World Series.
Thank you for beating
Houston.
Mm-hmm.
We appreciate that. Because I'm not going to go into it, but thanks for beating Houston. So I think
I'm so
it's
ready.
Definitely time. So let's have our special guest of the evening. And as always, special guests on How About That Cigar Live are brought to you by Corona Cigar Company and coronacigar.com, the internet's largest and easiest to use virtual cigar store. Corona Cigar Company offers you the finest handmade cigars, humidors, and cigar accessories at the absolute lowest possible price. You'll also find unique and limited cigars containing Florida sun-grown tobacco. As a proud American, President and founder of Corona Cigar Company, Jeff Borshowitz, believed it was possible to bring cigar tobacco farming back to Florida. At Corona Cigar Company and coronacigar.com, you'll find the best selection anywhere in the world of cigars containing this special Florida sun-grown tobacco. If you live in Florida or are just visiting, be sure to visit any of the great Corona Cigar locations in downtown Orlando, Sand Lake, Lake Mary, and also the Davidoff of Geneva Lounge in Tampa. For more info on all of that, please visit coronacigar.com and floridasungrown.com. Ladies and gentlemen, if you would please put your hands together and welcome back to How About That Cigar Live from Smoke Inn, Honest Abe Dababneh.
What's up, fellas?
Brother, we thank you a lot for coming on short notice. Your time is valuable to us, and we appreciate it.
Oh, my pleasure, guys. What's going on?
Life is good, man. It's fall, and usually it's pretty. It's already pretty cold here normally at this time of year. By early November, we're already looking at snow in a lot of cases.
Yep.
It hasn't been that yet. It's still pretty nice out, although we're looking at a snowstorm coming this weekend.
Today was the first cool day. We had a cool day. I walked out early this morning. I'm like, ooh. I mean, it didn't warrant any change of clothing, but it was noticeably cool.
And remind us what Florida city you hail
West
from?
Palm. West Palm Beach.
Palm? Okay.
West Palm Beach.
So yeah, I mean, we've been in the 60s. Which is, I mean, it's fantastic fall weather. I haven't put on a jacket yet this year. It's been awesome. And the cigar industry, you guys, is booming.
Yeah.
From
big time.
And I'm sure a big indicator, Abe, you'll be able to tell us how sales are right now. But, what are the trends that you're seeing right now in sales?
The trends I'm seeing is nobody has product. That's the trend I'm seeing. Now, you know what? I really shouldn't say nobody. It's really starting to loosen up, but not really it's nowhere near normal levels. Let's put it that way. We just opened our new fulfillment center last week. Was the first full week we had, and it's literally ironic because I've been saying this. I couldn't have picked a worse time in 3 decades to say, hey, let us open a fulfillment center now so that nobody has product to ship us. But that was our reality for the past 2 months.
And how's the new warehouse shaping up? Because I saw some of the video and pictures and stuff. It looks like a great facility. I know it was a long time coming because it took a little longer than expected to get things up and running and all that. But how's everything going there in the first week or so?
Look, it's going smooth. I mean, there's nothing catastrophic, but it's just a lot of, oh man, we didn't think of that. Oh, we didn't think of that, because there was a lot of back end structuring. Like, I'll give you a perfect example. We were shipping everything out of our stores, which didn't have real time inventory, right? Because we're pulling from 5 different locations as we need it. And being here in Florida, if I'm ever out of something, it's literally, let me call the manufacturer, and kind of the next day it's here, until COVID. And then that way of doing business ended promptly. So we had to leave the current inventory level. As we received product, we entered the inventory in the warehouse in a different column for the inventory. And then after we loaded it all up, when we went live, we just redirected where the inventory was looking, for the warehouse. But there's a lot of things that we realized that were attached to it. Like, for instance, we have like a stock notification report where if people want to stock notify when something comes back in stock. So like, I just did one this evening for the first time to see who's looking for product that's come back in stock. And then we shoot off the emails. Like, if something came back in stock 2 boxes, I'm not sending 50 stock notifications out. I mean, it's just, you end up pissing off 48 people. So you got to kind of manually do it and look. And as I'm looking at it, I'm looking at these numbers. It's telling me how much is inventory. I'm like, oh man, this report still points to the old inventory location. So, it's just crap like that. And it's probably, honestly, it was 15 years of web stuff that we just kind of revamped. It's probably going to take a good 4 to 6 months before we catch all the little bugs and stuff. But it's getting a facelift and makeover. What's nice is we bought in a lot of new brands. That's one of the beautiful things about having more space. And
Yeah.
it's cool to see all these brands that we've never carried. People are finding us for it, which is nice, right? Because that's what you want. You want to expand your reach and being able to service more people. And you know, when you're limiting yourself to the linear footage of what you have in your humidor, there's only so much you could have. You know, and you know, like, you know, some people always ask me, how come you don't have like Drew Estate factory smokes? Well, when they were in the warehouse, I showed them the section it took up. I'm like, where are you going to put that in a retail store? You know, it's like 3,000 bundles. I mean, that's what, you know. So it's exciting. It's exciting for everybody, but it's still a little learning curve, and it went longer, and now we're overlapping into the Great Smoke, and those tickets go live Friday and other projects. But it's going to be a very interesting end of this year, beginning of next year for our company.
Well, that is a fantastic segue. I owe you for that segue, because the very next question is, how is everything shaping up for the Great Smoke 2022?
You know, once again, that was my wife. She went to go get more whiskey.
Nice.
Yeah, this is what she left in a bottle. What are you going to do with that? That's what she left.
That's the child's portion, although children can't drink alcohol. But anyway, never mind me. Go ahead.
Right. Now, well, you know, the event we did earlier this year was really historic, because I mean, I even looked back upon it and it was like, we could have laid down and just said we're not going to do an event. We could have done what some other companies much bigger than us, and just did a mock event, you know. But we didn't do that. I mean, we literally not only had a virtual event, but literally had the biggest Great Smoke in 15 years. We reached more people, had more people participate, and ended up creating history with this 7-hour virtual event. So we always knew we wanted to go back to live. So I'm pushing the envelope again, because we had so many people email us how they really enjoyed being able to do it from their own home, whether it was safety reasons, whether it was financial reasons. We had a lot of people say, look, I can't take off of work for 3 or 4 days and buy a ticket and airfare and hotels and come down. Your event's awesome, but you know, we really hope you continue to do this virtually. So we're going to do something never done before again. We're doing a live and virtual simulcast event. So
wow,
it's gonna be kind of like the Ryan Seacrest New Year's, where there'll be like a center stage area, but then they'll go out into the event area and they'll come back in. And Michael Herklotz and Kim Keeney are coming back to reprise the roles.
Oh, nice. I was going to ask
Smoke. That. Yep.
Nice.
Yep. So we'll have 2 people out on the floor. Michael's going to host 4 individual segments in a studio. And then between those segments, they'll be seeing what's going on the floor. Everybody will be involved in raffles. People who are at home will get to see what people are there doing live, as well as have their own intimate broadcast. So once again, trying to do something that was never been done before, but that's what we like.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, and Herklotz did a phenomenal job last year. Honestly, huge props to you, because I don't know if you, because I remember before the event that you were saying that you weren't necessarily nervous, but you were just a little uncertain because it was not necessarily in your wheelhouse, but you really played the Jay Leno role to a T. I mean, you were the host with the most, definitely.
I had no problem performing. I mean, we do our weekly radio show. I mean, and talking is natural for me. It was just, I'd never done television production, which that ended up literally being this television production. And there were so many factors that were out of my control that had to really not screw up. Listen, we paid $4,000 just for the internet for that day. For that day, because you had to get special internet and you couldn't get it there.
Perfect internet that will not go down under any
circumstances. And they wanted 100 up and 100 down, you know, and it was a remote area, so they couldn't do it. And and then the production company was waiting till the last minute. I was freaking out. That's normal routine for them. They're doing other shows, so they're like, we ain't going to talk to you till we're ready to talk to you. I'm like, oh, okay. But it all came together. So a lot less stress as far as the television production side. But this, because it's in 2 different locations. Listen, What's nice is I don't have 68 segments like we did earlier this year with the 7 hour, straight showing. So I don't have 68 segments, but it has to be more choreographed because when they're doing the virtual side, it really has to end right to coincide with maybe the fire eaters or the steel drum players that are going on live, because then we want the camera to go over there. So it's going to be fun. And I'm sure it's going to be pretty exciting for people at home and people who are there live. And, like I said, if we pull this off again, I don't think anybody's ever done a virtual and live event at the same time. So it should be very cool.
Yeah, that's going to be exciting.
Absolutely.
One of the things I want to veer a little bit because it's fresh in my head because we talked a little bit about this before we went live. And, we always tell little personal stories about our life and little funny anecdotes and things that have happened to us. And, one of the things we briefly discussed before we went live was, how we proposed to our wives.
Well, and it was me that said, my wife had asked, do you remember that shirt you were wearing when you proposed? Are you serious right now?
Totally. I still have that shirt. I can't fit into it, but I still have it.
Zero clue. And so
you actually remember the shirt you wore.
Well, he has. I don't.
Yeah, he doesn't remember. I only remember
a great excuse.
I only remember it because it was a college theater production and I was in costume.
Oh.
So I remember what I was wearing just because of that.
Right.
But you said that you have a pretty unique proposal story. So give us that rundown because I'm curious about this.
I literally have a great story. It's impossible to have timed my proposal better. So give you a little feedback. I moved down to Florida in '96 and I literally meet my wife the first 2 weeks I'm in Florida. We met at a bar. We talked for 3 hours. I ended up asking, and she carded me during our chat. She didn't believe I was 26 at the time. So she literally asked me for my driver's license. I asked her if I could take her out to dinner. She said no. Let me take her out to lunch. So fast forward, we're friends for about 5 years. Then after about 5 years, she eventually moves in and we start dating and we date for 5 years. Now, 5 years of living together, and anybody who's been with their wives for a long period of time before they get married, you'll hear the horror stories of the pressure, the hints when you're going to ask, are you getting a ring? Everybody's seen it. Everybody's heard of it. Yeah. In 5 years, my wife never said boo, never hinted, never said a thing, never even joked about it. Seriously, wouldn't even make a joke about it. So I decided on Valentine's Day, it was about 5 years and 4 months after she moved in, I was going to propose to her. Took her out to a nice restaurant. They have botanical gardens behind there. And had the ring in my pocket. We go through this whole dinner. We walk through the botanical gardens. And on the way out, there's a gazebo. I said, let's go stop by the gazebo for a little bit. We stop at the gazebo. And, wrap my hands around my wife. Look at her. I said, you happy, babe? And my wife goes, yeah, but... Yeah. She said, well, I know you got your thing and you're doing and you're working hard and you have all these plans and, everything is great, but, don't you want to start our lives? That's what we talk about. We're living every day. Well, I mean, don't you want to start a family? I mean, so I'm like, are you kidding me? Am I about to propose? And my wife for the first time is actually I took it to the limit. This was the threshold moment where after 5 years, she starts to bust my balls about whether or not we're going to get married. So, of course, being the cocksucker that I am, I just totally go the other way with it. I'm like, no, babe, what are you talking about? People are living longer these days. We got time. We're no rush.
No.
And I totally go the other way with it. And, she doesn't want to seem pushy. So, it's always in these gentle tones. Yeah, but, I think we need to start because we want to, see our kids grow up and this. And I'm giving her every reason why we don't need to get married right now. And this goes on for about 3 or 4 minutes. But, for her, I'm sure it was an eternity. And she finally said something, and I just said, you know what? You know what the problem with the conversation we're having right now? You're just not asking the right question. And now she just looks confused. Like, what are you talking about? It's all about having the right question. What you're asking is none of the right questions. So now she's starting to get irritated. So, well, what's the right question? And that's when I take the ring out. I pop out. I say, will you marry me? Bro, first time since I've ever known her, she couldn't say anything for about 5 minutes. She thought it was a joke. It's like, there's no way, like, she bringing up this conversation, and I proposed on the same day. It was like, I literally, like, took it to the furthest limit possible without it becoming a conflict. Like, that, to the minute. Now, that is, if that's not skill, gentlemen, I don't know what is.
That is,
Thank you.
That is beautiful. You were, so how many days or weeks had you been carrying that ring around with you?
Oh, not long, man, because I had a jeweler
Okay.
that, like, I had a jeweler who was like sucked on timing, like literally, like everything was like last minute, right? So, I wish I had it, but I lost so much weight I don't wear it anymore. But like I literally probably picked it up the day before, to be honest with you. And then he insisted on making my wedding band as a gift, and I think he finished it like the day before our wedding. It was this big gaudy cigar band ring that I never ever wore because it was just like too gaudy. I mean, it's cool like if you're clubbing in your 20s and want to have your conversation piece, but it's nothing you're wearing in public. And then oh man, I think it was our 10th anniversary, so yeah, I'm going on 5 years now. My wife measured my finger with string while I was sleeping, took that exact ring, had it melted down, and made a beautiful band with it. That I started wearing until I lost about 70 pounds last year, and now I can't wear it until I get it resized.
Well, that's a good reason not to be able to wear it.
Yeah, I don't want to lose it. When it started flipping off my hand when I would do this, I'm like, okay, I gotta put it away.
And
I mean, I wouldn't have mind losing it before she had it redone, but I don't want to lose it now.
Yeah.
Yep. I enjoy watching some of the stories and things that you put on about, your family and your kids. And it's clear that you absolutely love your family to death and your kids. And I know that you love to cook. Is cooking something that you love to do with your kids, and are they taking any of that on?
No, they all do. In fact, my youngest daughter, that veggie bibimbap bowl. My youngest daughter actually helped her make with it. We didn't cook growing up. I mean, when I went to college, I was like the cook for our, the guys on the floor. But that was all like ramen based recipes.
Yeah.
But we didn't cook with my family growing up. My mom really cooked for all of us. But I prided my kids from day one to really appreciate food. I grew up eating a lot of crap food, and I outgrew it. I really don't eat barely any fast food. I got to be really hard up at 3 a.m. and really dying, to eat garbage food. I don't mind being heavy, but if you're gonna be heavy, it's got to be at least quality food, right?
Mm-hmm.
Amen.
So I've instilled that in them. My kids have never been to McDonald's. We've never taken them to McDonald's. Maybe my in-laws took them, but and my oldest two don't want to go there. They appreciate good food, and I enjoy doing it with them. I enjoy making the lunches. I had my wife was out of town this weekend, so I got up early for KMA, and I made them these breakfast things I just saw on Facebook, and we all did it. And my oldest was helping me, and we just have fun doing it. But I think that the two oldest ones have a really good appreciation for good food. The two younger ones are still getting there. They're the ones that when I say, what do you guys want to have for dinner? My oldest daughter's first restaurant and type of food that she knew, and I'm talking about going to the age of maybe 4, right, was hibachi. That's what, what do you want to eat? Yeah, hibachi, right? The younger ones are still in the pizza, Five Guys. They never go, but the older two have really got a good affinity for food, and I like taking them out. My wife had a funeral she had to go to a couple weeks ago, and we had nothing to do. I'm like, well, let's go to Capitol Grill. So I let them all get dressed up. We went to Capitol Grill, and I make them order. So my 70-year-old is looking at the waiter and telling the waiter, I'll start with the lobster bisque, and then for dinner I'll have the sliced fillet. And bro, man, like I want to record this.
It's the
He's 7
proudest
years
moment.
old,
Yeah.
man. Yeah, he's ordering his stuff. So I have fun with them, you know. So look,
Dude.
everybody has a way, but I really want to. It's great when you actually just have fun with them. And,
Yeah.
and you got to be a parent, which is the tough part. And, you want to mentally prepare them and give them all the skill sets and the tools so they can handle all the things that life may bring on them.
Yeah.
But if you don't have fun along the way, my dad didn't have a lot of fun with me growing up. Listen, my dad was the coolest dude. Like, if you ask any one of my cousins across the whole family, who's the coolest uncle, they all say my dad.
Yeah.
But not to us, not
Right.
to my brother and myself.
Yeah.
I mean, earlier this year, ever since I left home and grew up and wasn't a child anymore, this is the first time my dad ever said, "Hey, you want to go on vacation with us?" I'm like, "Oh, really? I'm like 50 years old. Sure." I mean, he's like crazy. They just they couldn't be that way with their own kids because they had to be the parent.
Yeah.
And they were never not the parent. So I just didn't want to be that way with my kids. They grew up in a different generation. They were farmers. Kids were labor. Oh, harvest's looking good. We better have another kid. I mean, that's how they were.
I remember. I've said this. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say my dad jokes. There was 10 of them, and he's like, we used to all sleep in the same room. I don't even know when they were making kids.
Yeah. So I've mentioned this before, and it's still true. One of the proudest moments as a father for me was when my daughter, who is turning 16 next week, when she was about 10, I was making steaks for dinner, and when my 10-year-old daughter asked for medium rare, that was one of the proudest moments of my life. And she's in the same boat. Even back when she was young, she wanted, anytime she had a birthday dinner, she didn't want to go to a pizza place or something like that. She wanted to go to hibachi. She wanted to go to Benihana or Osaka or one of the other hibachi places in town. And she's still that way.
But let me tell you what makes that good. Because like my dad, like when my dad's just like so old school. So like if he sees or he saw that I took him out to Capitol Grill, he's like, "What, are you crazy? You take your kids to Capitol Grill?" But like I'm trying to explain to him, I said, "Listen, if no one shows these girls how they should be taken out and what a nice dinner is, how are they ever supposed to know? Because when that dude comes at 16, 17, 18 and thinks a good night out, Kentucky Fried Chicken, they'll be like, what?
Right.
Right? I need to show them the standards of what to aspire to, right? So they know what to expect when that time comes. They won't just accept some mediocre guy who, doesn't want to give them the things that I already see they enjoy now. So they're going to enjoy it as adults. Yeah, but, they also understand that this is a privilege. It's not a way of life, right? I mean, they may go out to a dinner like that once every year and a half, maybe, on vacation, we'll take them somewhere nice. It's not an everyday occurrence for them, but these are the things that, if you like it, that's the way life can be for you. So, you have to show them that, when they have violin recitals. My daughter's playing violin since 4 years old. I bring her flowers. Yeah. Because that's how a man's supposed to be. If you learn that, if I show her that, then she'll realize that, hey, when I have these moments one day, if I'm dating somebody, he better bring me flowers. Yeah. So you have to show them the standards.
Yeah. That's why I love the daddy-daughter dance. My daughter Ella and I, we've gone to the daddy-daughter dance. I mean, like I said, she's turning 16 next week. We've gone since I think she was 5. And we always do it right. Her mom takes her out, and she gets her a brand new dress, new pair of shoes. Nice. She gets her hair done. I get dressed up, which I literally never do. The only day every year I get dressed up in a suit and tie is when I take my daughter to the daddy-daughter, and I get her a flower and the whole bit.
I had 3 daughters that went to the same school at one point. I had to take all 3 at the same time to the father and daughter dance. I think I had to train that weekend just to get ready for that.
And here's the sad part about the world we live in now, and I don't want to go off the rails here, but they just canceled the daddy-daughter dance.
And I know why.
Because of COVID?
No.
Mm-mm.
Oh, don't tell me they see something's wrong with it now.
Yeah.
They
you
do.
Kidding me?
Yeah. It's not inclusive enough.
Yeah. So coming to a town near you.
I'm sorry. It's horseshit. I'm just going to say it. That's ridiculous. Anybody? Yeah. It's and if that were to happen, so the places that I've always
I don't understand. What's not like? Do they want like daddy son dances? Is that what they're saying? I don't get it.
Well,
I mean, there's that part of it, and then what if you don't have a daddy, or what if, you know, and then we get into the gender topic.
What if you don't identify as a daughter and all this craziness? It's
so
just
all of that is all included, and it became too much of an issue to.
Is that a local thing or is that a national thing?
Well, I know it is local for me. I don't know if you guys are still having it or not, but
well, it's always in February, so I'll find out.
And we just got
actually now I'm curious. I got to find out. Hey Petra, I got to find out now.
The one, obviously the one in February earlier this year, 10 months ago was canceled, and I'm hoping they still have it coming up in a few months here.
Does your school have father-daughter dances? Really?
No. Kids don't have a father.
Is that why?
I mean,
how about, did they have father-daughter dances at the Zane and Zara school, or was that just something they did ideal?
And ours was never at the school. Ours was at a church. It's at a local church, and they've been doing it for apparently. I've met people who, I think they've been doing it for more than 20 years, because I've met people there who bring their grown daughters and their grandchildren now, who say their father brought them to this dance back 20 years ago.
And I understand.
I just talked to them, and there hasn't been one in a while. So yeah, you guys are right. They probably don't do them here anymore. I didn't even realize it.
And I am super sympathetic to those who don't have fathers. And
of course,
and I get that piece. I still think there's room for it. I still think it's okay. And I think there's also room to grow it, or to, if there's areas that need to be addressed, and to figure it out. I think it's a special time for young women.
Yeah.
So.
Well, let's.
But why can't if I mean, look, if I was a single parent, right, and like I was a mother and they had a daddy-daughter dance, I would just go as the mom.
100%.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what I would do. I mean, look, you can't cater everything to everybody's the same. I teach my kids that everything's not the same, and everything's not always going to be the same. It ain't going to be the same for all of you. Yep. No, I'll be eating something once, and my kids will come to me and say, "Hey, can I have some?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure, here you go." And the next one will come, "Can I have some?" I'm like, "Nope." What do you mean, no? No. I already gave the allocated amount I prefer to give away in my food to that one child. And they'll be like, "Well, that's not fair." I'm like, that's the way life is. Sometimes she's gonna get it, sometimes you might get it, sometimes you both get it, sometimes you none get it. So I mean, if I was a single mother, I would just take my kid as the father. I mean, I just don't think it's that. Yeah, I don't think it's that dramatic.
Yeah, and all the ones that I know of, they have plenty of flexibility for anybody who wants to come in any form, whether it's mother and daughter or whatever it is. They have it completely open to different scenarios. And as long as they don't cancel it altogether, I'm good with that. I think
the more important lesson is to show the child resilience and say, look, it's a father-daughter dance, but you want to know what? We're not going to let that stop us. I'm going to take you as your mother, or I'm going to have Uncle Bob take you, or I'm going to, I mean, it's good to show them that, hey, look, when there's a bump in the road, we just don't fall apart and say we can't do something. We still find a way to do it. I think that's the better lesson there.
Yes, definitely. Definitely.
I agree.
Well, let's shift a little bit back into cigars. And I'm curious because when you were on the Cigar Industry Hive Mind show with Charlie and Skip and John, One of the things that was brought up, and we didn't really dive into
was
it.
Was I able to get a word in edgewise then?
A little bit, but that's why
I remember
wanted
once.
to ask.
I remember once me being between Sokka and Skip Martin, like on the screen. I'm like, "All right, good night, everybody."
Charlie,
It was Charlie Minato and Skip.
Yeah, I wasn't able. No, there was one time I was literally my face and my skin was between Steve Sokka and Skip Martin. It's like, okay, I give up.
Yeah,
I'm tapping
exactly.
out. I'm done.
So one of the things that was brought up, and I specifically wanted to get more from you on this topic is, what is your philosophy when it comes to creating new cigar consumers?
Oh, creating new consumers is hard. How I've done it on a local level, a lot harder on a national level, is through events, through store events, through the Great Smoke, through dinners. Look, the lure is never going to be the cigar. You're talking about for creating people who just never smoked and you want to get them in the lifestyle, right? The lure is seldom ever going to be the cigar. That's the least likely lure, right? So
exactly.
when I had my 900 square foot store, 25 years ago, 900 square feet, right? And we used to do Saturday lunches. We had 26 guys in a 900 square foot store. I mean, half of them had to sit outside half the time, right? That we did a lunch club where one guy bought lunch for everybody, all 26 guys. You can bring whatever you want. No one would critique you. If you bought pizzas, you bought pizzas. One guy had a chef come in and cook food right on site. Just nobody cared, but we all ate together, 26 guys, every Saturday, right? And it became, and your name came up twice a year. So twice a year you paid for everybody. The other 50 weeks you ate for free, right?
Yeah.
And we looked forward to that Saturday. I'm not kidding you, like it was Christmas every week. We laughed, we ate, we had a good time. But people would see that. They would be walking that, what's going on here? Oh, yeah, we do this every Saturday. You do this every Saturday? Yeah, we do this every Saturday. And I can't tell you how many times people would show up the next Saturday and maybe have their first cigar. So it's always the lifestyle or the experiences that will lure new people in, because I've always said it. That's what attracted me most to this industry. It wasn't so much the product. The product was the product. It was the cool things that were wrapped around this hobby that we all enjoy. That was cigar events and getting-togethers and herfs, as they called them back in the day, and it was just awesome. It was really great. And those guys, those 26 guys, the ones that are still alive, God rest their souls, the ones who aren't, the majority of them are all still like my best friends. I'm still in touch with them from 25 years ago. These are the first group of men I started associating with when I moved to Florida. So it's always going to come down to experience. Weddings, right? Weddings. I can't tell you how many guys will have their first cigar at somebody's wedding or when somebody has a baby. So that's the path that I've always seen most effective in my career. To make a sale or to do something, it's going to be nice for the people who are already in the lifestyle and who already patronize you or not, but that's not going to compel somebody to say, hey, let me try this product. Usually an occasion, an event, a function. That's how I've seen more people get into the lifestyle than anything else.
And do you run your brick and mortar different than your online? Do you see them as two totally different entities?
They are two totally different entities in how they're run, but not in how we treat the customers. That's one of the reasons why, for me, COVID was a renaissance. It revitalized me. I went from being the guy that had lunches with 26 guys every day, where I used to never sit in the office. I used to always sit either at the bar or at one of the tables out on the floor because I'd like seeing everything. And then, unfortunately, one of the downsides of growth and expansion is you have less free.
Oh, no.
Oh, we just lost Abe. Well,
all right.
I'll send him a text and
We will try and get Abe back on.
There
he is.
Don't know what happened. The app just quit.
Yeah.
So, so that's one of the downsides is you don't have enough time anymore. Now sitting outside, now I don't have time to for everybody to come in and sit next to me and talk to me because I'm not getting my work done. So then I had to eventually move back in the office and the business side of it wasn't as fun for me as it was for a long time because I didn't have that interaction that first drew me to the business. And then when COVID happened and all of a sudden, for 6 weeks we weren't working. And then even when we did go back to work, it was very minimalistic. And we're trying to figure out, well, how do we just keep some kind of revenue flowing? And that's when we started our Whereby channel, which it's still being used today. That room, you go in any given night, there's 6, 7, 8, 10, 12 people in there. But that became a thing for me every night because I wasn't working all day. So I was home all day with the wife and kids. So when everybody got on at 7, 8 o'clock at night, it was all right. My family was sick of me by then. So I was able to stay on for 3, 4 hours every night, right? Now I get home 8:30, 9 o'clock, and I can't walk through the door and say, hey, I'm getting on the Whereby. So now I don't get on it as much. But what social media has allowed me to do is I'm not constrained by business hours. I can be interactive, whether it's in our smoking social group, whether it's on Facebook at 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2 a.m., because I don't sleep a lot. I sleep 4 or 5 hours a night. So it's allowed me to, it's really funny because it's not only has allowed me to reconnect and get excited and interact with these people now all over the country, my local people have now kind of gotten involved on the social media side. So now I'm actually interacting with my local people through the our social media platform. So the way we try to interact with our patrons is really not much different in the store and the type of care and affection that we'll have with them on a national level. But the way you do business is just different. That's all.
Yeah. Well, we want to definitely talk a little bit about the Advent Calendar Project, but we're going to use that and we're going to lead it into, is it?
I think so.
I think it's time. It is now time for this week's Numero de los Muertos. And as always, Numero de los Muertos is brought to us by Smoke Inn.
Smiling my favorite. Big work your favorite. That's your favorite, okay? Okay. Work is your new favorite. Fine. Time for it now. Okay, people, tomorrow morning, it is Santa's only Santa. Oh my God!
No, I have to say that spot is awesome. Your people who put those spots together, they're all good, but that one in particular is just
be the
awesome.
Best at Microsoft Paint I have ever seen.
No, that's so before we get into Numero de los Muertos, I mean, we got a lot of great detail in that spot there, but this project, first of all, has to be a ton of work, but I know so many people, us included, who are super excited about it. So give us the rundown.
One of the coolest projects we ever worked on, and one of the probably the ones that caused me now the most grief ever. coming up with that packaging, because that box is self-contained humidity, right? So it's going to keep the cigars fresh, because the advent calendar technically is closed for 30 days, 25 days or more. So coming up with that packaging was a nightmare, but we wanted something cool, because when I first came up with the idea, which was last September, I believe it was, to do an advent calendar, at that time I thought nobody had ever done it. So I was all excited. I'm like, oh, we're going to be the first to do this. It's going to be awesome and all this stuff. I really wanted to get it out by last year, Christmas, but there was just no way that was happening. And then as I went around and started asking manufacturers to be involved, I started hearing, oh, Pete Johnson says, well, I'm making one. And then Oliva says, we had one last year, didn't make it, we're going to do it this year. And I'm like, oh, okay, I guess we're not the first. But I am the only retailer I know that did it. And what's nice about ours is it's not single company driven. So there's actually 25 different cigar brands in there. And that packaging is really like, I've seen some of the other advent calendars. I'm not putting them down, but you can just tell the amount of effort and care. I mean, that's a hard box. That's a heavy box. And everything was supposed to be here at the end of August. And it's still out in a boat outside Long Beach, floating around the ocean somewhere. So we've had 125,000 cigars. And we've had the packaging, because when we ship this box, it's going to go in a bubble wrap, and then a special size box we had to buy. And the space that we're just holding for the packaging takes up more room than the 125,000 cigars. And I'm calling every day, and we're still hoping. The last we looked, it's scheduled to be unloaded supposedly November 10th. So that would be in 2 days. And then we don't know how long it takes to clear customs, hoping maybe a couple of days. And I've been calling every day. I said, look, just tell me what it'll cost. I don't care, to see if we can get an exclusive transport. So I don't want to go on a truck and then go to, Texas and then Louisiana. I want to get on a truck and come straight to Florida. It's just no one has answers. No one has answers. So we are ready and prepared. We already have a plan. If this thing does come off the boat on the 10th and it does get in transit and we can get it here before Thanksgiving, 18th, 19th, we got a team of 6 guys, 2 teams of 3 that are willing to work around the clock, day and night, and load these guys up and try to get them out. Thanksgiving throws a little kink in the shipping time, but maybe worst case scenario, they start landing on people's doorstep the first week of December, but that's what we're just hoping for, these should have all arrived end of August. They should have been packed the whole month of September. And then we were going to start selling them the middle of October and just let everybody have them early, because they were humidified. They would have been fine. And that's just the reality of the world we live in. And on that same container are our new smoking ashtrays that were supposed to have arrived, the Great Smoke ashtrays, and our blue boxes for our Connoisseur Club, for our subscription program. So that's all in the same container. We're just waiting to get it.
Oh, man.
So mind you now that for all, we talked about the Great Smoke earlier, but this year is the most epic Great Smoke package in the history of the 15 years we've been doing this. I mean, literally, this last Luau Party in a Box is going to be the best package ever done in the whole year, time we've ever done this. But I've paid triple now to make sure all the little components we have left is coming via air freight. I'm not even wasting time putting them on a boat.
Right.
So, the cost literally was tripled to ship a lot of this stuff. Like, ship it.
Yeah,
man.
Ship it.
Well, we'll be on the lookout for it, and we encourage everybody to stay tuned to Abe's social media, to Smoke In social media, because I know you guys are going to be constantly updating people, and because your people want to know, and you guys are always very good about keeping your customers updated. So everybody.
Thank you.
We encourage you stay tuned to their social media so you can know what's going on, and be patient with them, people. This is it's a weird world we live in the last couple of years. So
when are you shipping? When are you shipping that out?
Listen, we have like 3,600 people in our Smoke and Social Facebook group,
Yeah.
And I'm not, they're not all paying attention. There's a handful of hardcore followers that know everything we do, right? But
Yeah.
there's literally somebody who asks every other day, whatever happened with the advent calendar? Where is it going on? I'm like, I know.
We're working on it.
I'll text
We're
you
working
tonight.
on it.
Working on it.
Yeah, I'll text you at 3 a.m. Hey, Abe, what about those advent calendars? When are those?
Don't think it hasn't happened.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure it has. So let's do episode 134, Numero de los Muertos. Garrett, what do you have for us this week?
All right. Got a low number.
Okay.
27 Americans died between the years of 1968 and 1985.
So total in that time span or average per year?
Nope, total. And these 27 people, it ended up being a lawsuit, and that's all I'm giving up for right now. The official count is 27.
Is it done by some sort of accident?
Yep.
Between 1968 and
85.
1968 and 85, 27 people died from this in the United States.
Yes.
Is it something that would happen in a building?
No.
All right, so elevator crashes are out.
Q says death by turkey or pumpkin.
Yeah, no.
Hot coffee?
Nope.
Is it transportation related?
It is transportation related.
What's the year again? Because that has something to do with what's the year span?
68 and 85.
So from 68 to 85, 27 people died from this in the U.S.
So either they made it so that it stopped happening or that transportation stopped around 1985.
It is certainly not flying a kite. It's not sporting events. I did do that one.
Is it a form of public transportation?
Not public transportation.
Is it riding any type of vehicle?
Yes.
What
do you mean? Sorry, clarify.
Is the accident in riding a vehicle, a bike, a train, a automobile, a plane?
It is. Yep.
Okay. Does it have two wheels?
It does not.
Does it have four wheels?
It does. It is not death by coitus. It is not a hot air balloon.
Does a car have something to do with it?
Yes.
Okay, so it's a type of car accident. Airbag deaths. No, there were no airbags in 68. Take that back.
Seatbelts?
Not seatbelts. Not horse carriage. Though I did see a TikTok where the Amish were drifting their carriages, which is awesome.
Yeah.
Death by sunroof?
No.
Ooh, sunroof. That's a good guess.
That is a good one. Golf cart accidents? Nope.
Oh, golf carts. That's a good one, Alan. I didn't even think about it. I'm just thinking cars and trucks.
So it's a car.
It's a car. Only 27 people, though, in that long of a time span. 68, 85.
Is it a street legal car?
It is.
Ooh, convertibles.
It is not a convertible.
You're
getting closer.
T-tops?
Quentin is getting closer with the Gremlin.
Oh, is it the Ford Pinto?
It is the Pinto. So now the time frame was actually 1970 to 74, but I thought that might have been too narrow, and it would have definitely gotten us there faster. The interesting part was, and I read a bunch about this now because it was fascinating. I thought 27 was pretty low. That's the official death count of the Ford Pinto. And if anybody here is under the age of 40, you probably have no idea what we're talking about. But the Ford Pinto was made so cheaply with an unreinforced gas tank that in rear end accidents, it could burst into flames. And Ford knew this 6 months after the car left the factory, and yet continued to produce it, didn't say anything about it. And Lee Iacocca has, He said our game plan was to just win in court later. They knew. And that was the craziest.
Imagine if something like that would have happened during the social media age.
Oh my gosh.
Seriously, it would be a whole different ballgame if something like that would have happened during the social media age.
Yeah. So officially on the books, 27 people died. Ford paid out those 27 individuals, but I'm sure more had close calls or and the recall didn't even happen until 78.
Wow. And there were still people dying up and through 85.
Yes, but
Wow.
Since they had already settled, and since it was already kind of a done deal, the government didn't make them or force them to do a recall until 78. Yeah, the whole thing is crazy.
That's insane. You got to wonder if there was some cronyism between some of the big execs at Ford and some politicians.
Just look at those stats. Just look at all of those facts that absolutely.
Yeah, that's insane.
They're in pockets for sure.
Well, they have I forget what that division is called, where like they assess it. Is it cheaper to recall it, or is it cheaper to just pay the lawsuits? And they assess which will cost them more.
Yeah.
And that was exactly the game plan early on when they said, we're just going to sit on it, wait for the lawsuit to happen, and we will look to win in court.
Wow.
How sad is that?
That's insane. Well, I don't think because Ford just recently re-released the Bronco. I don't see them re-releasing the Pinto anytime soon.
No.
I think that one's done.
The all-electric Pinto?
The all-electric new Ford Pinto.
Unless it comes in a can and served with rice, I don't think that.
Exactly. All right, so that was this week's Numero de los Muertos. All right, so let's hit the lightning rounds. So, Abe, if you could bring back any fashion trend from the past, what would it be?
Cavarici pants. Z Cavarici pants.
Wow.
Huh.
That is utter and pure sarcasm. Just want to let you know before you think I was serious.
I was kind of sitting on that waiting.
That was like the funniest thing I could come up with. I mean, Z Cavarici pants. God, those are
I'm glad that was sarcasm.
Oh yes. I don't know. I'm such an unfashionable guy. A fashion trend that would come back. Yeah, Clueless.
No.
That's
all right.
Yeah, what are fashion trends? I wouldn't even know. Bell bottoms. That's about all I know. Bell bottoms. I mean,
bell bottoms kind of have they have an ebb and flow.
All the fashion trends I know are the stuff people don't like. The bell bottoms, the leg warmers from the 80s, the big hair from the 80s. It's all the bad stuff. I don't know any of the good fashion trends.
Yeah, backwards clothes.
Backwards clothes, crisscross.
Yep.
Is that what it was? Did people
thankfully
actually do that?
Yeah, thankfully that lasted about 3 months.
Yeah.
I could more give you a list of more fashion trends that just go away and never come back. That's an easier question.
Yeah. Z Cavarici pants. That's one.
Z Cavarici pants is one, and the wearing of your pants where they like below your butt line. I don't get that.
Yeah.
Is that still a thing?
I still see it, man.
You still see it?
I still see it on there, man. Guy just walking around with his underwear, plain as day, and his pants belted around like his hips. I'm like, okay, that works. I don't, if you think
how
that's
can
a
that
good
not
look,
give you hip problems later?
Yeah.
How do your pants just not fall to the ground?
Yeah.
It's like anti-gravity. I don't get it, but it's all right.
All right. So Abe, who was your biggest celebrity crush when you were a teenager or a kid?
I had a few. Kind of just depends what year it was.
Yeah, give us a few of the notable
ones. How old are you guys?
I'm 50. Garrett is 43.
Matt, you might know this one. I think my first one was Aaron Gray.
Aaron, the name sounds familiar,
Yeah,
but
it
I'm
does.
not.
See? Shame on you.
Yeah, I'm sorry. It's not ringing a bell.
Okay.
I mean, the name.
Two famous TV shows. Buck Rogers, 25th Century.
Oh, yes.
yeah.
Yes.
And if
Yes.
you're really good, you'll tell me what the other show that she was on that was very famous.
I don't, but I do. I will say this.
Silver Spoons.
Silver Spoons. Yes.
Oh, she was the mom in Silver Spoons.
Yes. So
she wasn't the mom. She
You're the
wasn't the
mom.
mom.
Yeah,
She was the assistant to the
The
father.
assistant.
Yeah.
So yes, Buck Rogers, her in that silver spandex outfit.
Oh,
Rogers,
yeah.
dude. Yeah, that was.
Then it was I can't remember the week's actor, but I think it was Heather Lock. No, not Heather Locklear. Heather Thomas
on the
from
Fall
the
Guy.
Fall Guy. Yes.
Yes, I had her. I had her big poster in the pink bikini on my wall.
That's the same one I had in the hot tub, right? Yeah,
Yep.
like her legs come out of the hot tub or something like that.
Yep.
Yeah, I had the exact same one. And then it was Kelly LeBrock from Weird Science.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
Kelly LeBrock, I had a little stick for growing up. Those are the three that come to mind from childhood.
So, if you were suddenly a billionaire, what would be the first unnecessary thing you would spend your money on?
After you've saved all the whales.
Yeah.
And
After you've cured world hunger and saved
Yep.
all the whales and paid off the national debt. I'm joking, of course, but what would be the first unnecessary thing you would buy?
Is a house unnecessary?
Well,
I mean, we have a house. It's not necessary. We need another one.
yeah, no,
yeah, I'd say that's if you already have a place to live, then a second house or a third house.
Yeah, it would be a house. I mean, look, that's the place where you spend the most time with your family. So I would just like dupe up a house, like badass, like Dubai style, like stupid house.
yeah.
Alan says the Miami Heat. I would rethink that investment if I were you, Alan.
No, I think I would just have a cool ass house.
Yeah. Abe would buy a helicopter. That he would not do.
Only those on the inside know how funny that is.
Yeah. That was Numero de los Muertos on our last.
Yeah.
Yep. Don't do helicopters.
No helicopters. So that was the lightning round. Let's move into this week's Notable Smokable. And as always, on How About That Cigar, Notable Smokable is brought to us by our friends at Ace Prime Cigars. Notable cigars, notable passion, notable purpose. So Abe, you remember from last time, each week we name a cigar that was interesting to us. It could be something that's been on the market for years that we just revisited for the first time in a while, or it could be a brand new cigar that we had never tried before. What's something you've smoked recently that kind of caught your attention?
Ooh, that's a good question. Something I've smoked recently that caught my attention. God, I'm smoking so much stuff lately. I got to cheat a little bit.
Yeah, while you're cheating, I'll go. My notable this week was the Michaelis Lancero that we got from Dan Thompson.
Oh, yeah. The full Lancero or the little petite?
No, the full Lancero.
Okay. I haven't smoked that one yet. So Dan, again, thank you for sending us those. I haven't smoked them, but the petite one that was for International Women's Day.
Yeah.
That cigar.
That's good.
Is really good. I really enjoyed that cigar very much.
I've smoked a couple cigars, but I can't talk about them that really got my attention.
Well, one that maybe you can talk about is one you sent us the graphic for.
Yes, that one I can talk about actually, because I have a couple. We have a couple TGS releases, so I've been doing a lot of smoking of those. We have 5 manufacturers who have made a specific cigar for the TGS release, so I don't want to really talk about them. That's kind of what I've been smoking a lot lately. In fact, one of them I'm really in love with, but I can't really talk about yet. But I did have on our KMA show last Saturday. It's one of our it's a special release. There's only 200 boxes made. That I'm dropping it this Wednesday. Today's Monday, so the day after tomorrow. There's only 200 boxes made. It was Kevin from Cigar Prop wanted to do his first like branded project. He worked with Espinosa Cigars. It's called Back in Black, and this is a Habana and broadleaf. No, San Andreas. Sorry, it's Habano and San Andreas. So it's two dark wrapper barber pole. You can kind of see it in the picture there.
Yeah,
I kind of enjoyed it. It was more unique than I thought it was going to be. I had it during the KMA show, and I kind of had it once when we first got them in. That kind of impressed me, but I'm trying to give people something that I've smoked this week that really struck a chord with me. I tell you what, I had the David, the New Connecticut Foundation. Kind of impressed with that.
Ooh.
You know, because he released it. He just released some in a Connecticut instead of a broadleaf.
Yeah.
Enjoyed it. Very, very, very cool variation up from the original wrapper. So that was something I had this week that was very, very
Nice.
good.
My notable was I'm going to butcher this name, but the Desvalido from Dapper Cigars. Dapper is a brand that's impressed me the last few years, and this one, when I was at Omar's shop, Ramsey Smoke Shop here in the area, and I always trust his palate. He gives me recommendations, and that's one of the Dapper cigars I had not tried, and he said he enjoyed it, so I picked one up and smoked it actually at the shop, and very nice blend.
Yeah,
very nice blend. It's bold, but still had some really good smoothness to it. So check that one out if you guys find that at your local shop. So that was this week's Notable Smokable, brought to us by Ace Prime, improving lives through fine cigars. Visit aceprime.com to learn more. So to give our viewers and listeners an idea of some very cool stuff we have coming up very soon. Next week on the 15th, we have Joe Grow from Drew Estate. And the following Monday night on the 22nd, we have none other than Miguel Shodell from Crowned Heads. So stay tuned for that. And so, Abe, give all our viewers and listeners where's the best place for them to keep up with everything going on with Smoke Inn?
So if you want to keep up with everything going on Smoke Inn, just go to our website, sign up for our emails. If you just want like a laid back version of everything going on, or follow our Smoke Inn Facebook page. But if you really want an interactive experience, kind of the stuff I was talking about earlier, where you get to interact with me personally and my team and a lot of other cool members, we have a private Facebook group, Smoke Inn Social. Check it out. Honestly, we have the most fun in that group. We do contests every month. And listen, the people have just taken over it. I mean, look, when you do something, these social experiments, as I like to call them, is like a seed, right? You plant it, you put it in there, you feed it, you water it, and you just hope it grows and develops. That's kind of what happened. Alan Rubin, who I know is watching this show, he started his own Saturday Night Live where they get by in the whereby, and they're doing it on their own, and they're doing bombs on their own, and they're just interacting on their own. It's just such a wonderful thing to see, just the whole experience just become more than just about cigars. And that's really where we'll do special drops when we get stuff that's rare, not enough to send out mass. We'll drop it in our social group. So if you really want an interactive experience and not just get an email with updates and stuff, which you can, check out our Smoke Inn Social Facebook page. It's actually a fun place to be. And
just so something I watched recently was the Death Nut Challenge that you did. You guys, so once you get into the Smoke Inn Social page on Facebook, search that page for Death Nut Challenge or just Death Nut, and the last video was freaking hilarious.
Yes.
Yeah, we had that streak where they were just doing hot things, and then now nobody wants to do it. But yeah, I think that Death Nut Challenge might have been the last.
So I would like to request we bring that back. So, especially AJ, who was such a champ, because that was just top shelf entertainment.
That was
We've
good
had
stuff.
some good moments. We had the whole Saka smoking feud that went on for 2 days. We had fun times. That's what it's about. That's what
Yeah.
people are going to remember. Those videos, you know,
Yeah.
the Saka smoking war that went over a whole weekend. You know,
Yeah.
that's what people are going to remember and laugh about.
Yep. Absolutely.
So, Abe, thank you so much for. I know this was kind of a last-minute thing, you filling in for us this evening, and we really appreciate your time. We're excited. You have some obviously some great stuff coming up, as you always do, and you know, for us here at How About That Cigar, we appreciate everything you do, and you know, we look forward to talking again real soon.
Thank you for having me, as always. And if anybody's out there listening, a couple things. If you pre-ordered the Red Meat Lovers Club, those are you'll be getting an email soon. We're gonna update people probably this week once we know. I know they've shipped once it arrives to the warehouse. All the people pre-ordered. If you didn't pre-order, don't worry. We ordered extra. We got Back in Black dropping on Wednesday, and most importantly, the Great Smoke tickets. This is the event of the century. I promise you. Just check out the website this Friday, November 12th. And just look at it. And if that doesn't make you say, hey, I have to be involved in this, then there's no event you'll ever want to do.
Well, and Abe, hang out in the green room with us just for 2 minutes after we're off the air. And thanks again so much for being on the show. So for our viewers and listeners, guys, as always, we are so grateful to you for watching and listening. If you guys have questions for Garrett or myself, make sure to email us on the website, howaboutthatcigar.com. Follow us on all social media at HBT Cigar. And of course, as always, burn cigars.
Not bridges.
See you guys. Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.